Hey everyone, Justin here, Voices for Voices. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode and all of the over 390 episodes we have in our Voices for Voices TV show and podcast portfolio. It's really this a, a great time to reflect on all the blessings that we have received this year. All of our uh, viewers, our listeners, just like you and you, for uh, being with us, being a part of the Voices for Voices ministry and movement where we are helping people each and every day that uh, not even just we have new shows or a TikTok live. Um, we're helping people every day, even if we don't have a TikTok live, and even if we don't drop a new episode, because we have so many episodes and so much reach across the world that we know that we are touching people on a daily basis. Um, on the heart, we are not thinking like some individuals say that phrase. Some people's mind automatically goes to the gutter, and we are not those people. We are the clean version of uh, Christian fantasy of mental health recovery and advocacy, the trauma recovery and advocacy. And at the end of the day, we just want to help, whatever that may be. And it may be this show, it may be a different show, it may be a TikTok live, may who knows? Uh, Only God knows the uh, the trajectory and how we're reaching people and how we're helping people. Uh, it's just uh, so validating, so reassuring that we are helping people. Because if you look at our vision and our mission, you look at voicesforvoices.org. I say org instead of com because so many websites are .com, and we're a 501(c)(3) nonprofit charity. And so we are an org. We're an organization. If you're here in the United States, every cent, every dollar that you either donate at lovevoices.org uh, or by purchasing one of, I believe we have seven different books available. We have four in our TikTok shop, and we have seven in our publishing house. So the Voices for Voices publishing arm of or leg of the overall organization of Voices for Voices that you can see on my hat right here. This beanie can be purchased if you head on over to voicesforvoices.org, and then you're gonna look across the like the top section, and you're gonna see what do we do? You're gonna click that, and then there's gonna be a drop down, and one of the options it's gonna say shop, SHOP. Click that, and on the first row on the right hand side, you click there, and you can get your very own black beanie with the white lettering, and this is stitched nothing but high quality for our donors, our viewers, our listeners, for anybody. And if you want the golden Voices for Voices beanie, the golden beanie, we weren't able to get them in the same spot because the one factory doesn't produce golden beanies, and that's the one that produces this one. Same high quality product. We just had to we had to find another vendor that we could get the golden beanie. And so to do that, you're going to scroll all the way down on that shop page. So all the way down. And then on the right hand side, you're going to see a picture of a beanie. Click there. And then there's going to be a myriad, a multitude of options to uh, select. And one of those is going to be golden. Click that. And then that takes you to the purchase process. Those have been in high demand. They're actually recommended by one of our TikTok live viewers. Uh, and here I am wearing this on a lot of our shows, and I I was so, as sometimes we get, so down in the weeds of what we're working on project wise that I it took a TikTok live uh viewer, listener to bring that up. And I was like, oh yeah, we can definitely do that. So I think it was a couple days later and we were able to do that. And then I was thinking, well, there's this really popular song called Golden out, and with the Olympics, the Winter Olympics coming up, I was thinking, why don't we have a golden gold beanie? So we did that. So we saw a need, and we've been selling quite a quite a lot of these beanies. So thank you again to that TikTok live viewer listener who brought that up, and we're so grateful, and we hope you enjoy your beanie, and I hope that you got two. I hope you got one of whichever color, because if that, when you first get on that shop page and you just scroll all the way over to the right, there's limited colors on that, on one where you can get, the black and white. And I think you can get the black and white on the other one when you scroll all the way down where the golden one is. But we were wanted to make sure that at least one of the options had the gold version. And so that's what we did. And so we saw a problem, we saw a way we could get better, and we did that. And so again, we have so much to be grateful for this holiday season. Whether whether you're a believer or not, that's okay. You don't have to be one specific believer or not to be a part of the Voices for Voices uh, ministry and movement. We love everybody just the same, and we are so grateful for all of our viewers, our listeners, our donors, uh, our customers that are purchasing the beanies and purchasing. We have so many different options of that you can choose from. If you go to that shop part of our website, it probably be maybe a little bit overwhelmed seeing how many different products and accessories that we have available for sale. And again, we are a nonprofit, registered, and each dollar, each cent whether by purchase or whether it's a straight uh, cash, debit card, credit card donation. Uh, all that is 100% tax deductible if you live in the United States. I don't know all the rules and laws in every country is different. And I know we're reaching over 100 countries and territories and over 1,000 cities across the world. Uh, so before I would check into what the rules regulations is for your country, uh, we 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 have so many consumers and viewers and listeners from all across the world that we just want to thank you if you decide to jump in and donate, whatever that looks like. If that's again, that's straight, you know, uh, monetary donation, the money, cash, U.S. dollar, uh, peso, depending on where you live, uh, or whether you make a purchase of any of our items from our shop, or our books aren't always up to date in our on our website. So you want to head over to Amazon.com and you want to type in Voices for Voices Publishing or David Solomon, author, or Ryan Solomon. And Solomon is spelled Solomon. Ryan is capital Ryan. David is capital David. And uh, his wife and Ryan's mom and uh, is Amanda, Amanda. Uh, all of them are creators. They're just amazing, amazing people. And Amanda does so much of the editing, which is not always the most glamorous part of the creating process. So we want to give a big shout out to her, Amanda Solomon, for everything that you do. We want to give a shout out to Cooper Saunders for the Adeline comic book. He did all the artwork on the cover and inside the comic book. And the Adelan is spelled Atalan. That's Atalan. The Adelan. And that is the first comic that is written by the hottest author in the world, which is David Solomon. And the artwork again. So David did the story part of the comic book, The Adelan, and Cooper Saunders did the artwork. Uh, we just have so much to be thankful for. Um, Trying to make sure I cover everybody, obviously, family, friends, everybody. It's been a part of the uh, the movement, the push this year. We are, as you may or may not know, this time last year, we were at maybe 155, 156 or so episodes total. And this year, we had a goal of reaching 300 episodes because we looked at the numbers and said, okay, we can probably double. We can say 150. Yeah, around there we could do that. So then that grand total for seasons one, two, and three, and four, which is the season we're in now, We said, okay, well, the total of all four seasons through calendar year 2025, yeah, we should be able to hit 300. And then lo and behold, here we are. You see a 300 already. You see a 320, 330, 340, 350, 360, 370, 380, 390. And you're going to see 400, at least a total of 400 episodes of our podcast and TV show. It's just so it's so hard to put into words because so much time with jobs, corporate America, corporate world, uh, so much time is spent on the negative, right? So you and I would have, like a performance review. And so we would look at 2026 and we would meet with our whoever's our manager, director, whatever the title is. We'd meet with the person and and we'd say, okay, here's you know, list me out three or five goals that you want to reach next year. And they also have to tie into the mission vision of the organization. Well, so that's the part for next year. Well, at the end of this year would be the time, which where we're at right now, but might happen in January or February or so. We'd look backwards at calendar year 2025, January through December, and we would sit down with whoever our manager or director, whoever manages us, and we'd say, okay, did we reach these goals? Did we not? If we didn't, why didn't we? If we did, how did we do it? And then our manager, then they give their input and so we may think, oh yeah, we I reached that goal. And our manager might say, no, you didn't. Or they might say, yes, you did. Or you said, yeah, I was satisfactory. I did okay this year on this particular goal. Anyway, so then the focus goes then not on what we're doing good or well. It goes to what we didn't do, what we should have done better. If we're in a team of like five, then we get graded and rated against all five of those individuals. Or if there's five total, then there'd be four plus hypothetically me in this example. So there's all this rating and how we do, and I feel that there's too much time and energy spent on what we didn't do well to what we need to get better at, and there can be differing of opinions, and I get it. I get it to an extent, but I also don't get it because we need to be empowering our people, our direct reports, or if we have our own organization and we're the only one running it, or if we are a CEO of an organization that has 15,000 employees. Wh- whatever, wherever you're at, we always can do better. It's it's easy to find flaws. You want to know why? Have you ever heard of gossip? The Real Housewives of wherever, or sat in a mall or sat somewhere and they're just kind of people watchers. And then there's conversation with others like, "Oh, you'll never you'll never believe what I saw or what this person was wearing or this or that." So that's how it starts. It starts as a like, "Oh, it's not exactly mean, but it's like we got to one up them. We got to, we're comparing, we're judging." And that's the part where we're trying not to do as much is the judging part. So way too much time, I believe, on negative and too little on the positive. So that's why I'm spending time on the positive for this show. Because number one, if we're alive, that is the biggest positive. There's a lot of people that aren't. A lot of people passed away in 2025 or in the month of December or prior in other months, previous months and years. I'm not saying we need to have some humongous celebration for that, but I'd say that's a good thing, right? We're alive. Okay. We can agree. We're helping people. We can agree. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing. Whether you volunteer your time, uh, whether you donate some of your hard-earned money, you purchase from our shop. These are positive things. And just, there's a song called, it's a great day to be alive. And that's one part of the song I know I don't know, it's Kenny Chesney. Forget who sings it. But it is. And so we got to start there. And then helping people, however that is, helping is better than hurting. We believe that unity, unifying is better than dividing. So anytime we can throw a positive or throw a win up on the scoreboard. Again, I'm not saying we have to have, these huge celebrations for these wins, but can we at least just talk about them and let people know that they're appreciated every once in a while? Would it hurt? Would it hurt to do that? That's what I'm talking about. Because when everything's negative, 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 people are leaving. Can't retain employees because everything's negative. And sometimes the goals are so far-fetched, and some of the goals are so far-fetched in addition to just what you and I could do. So let's just say somebody is starting their career, first job. They get their performance review, they set their goals, and most of them, or some of them, might tie to how well the business does, or somebody makes a business decision. So somebody starting their career is usually on like one of the lower rungs of the ladder, and somebody who's making the decision on should we do this, shouldn't we do this, what are the options, is usually above, and oftentimes multiple ladder rings above. Rungs, not rings. Uh, and so here's a person just starting their career, and they're like, man, I I don't get to make the decision on this goal, or this goal. And yet our managers come back and say, well, this is the way we have to do it. Sometimes there's some negotiating in that, and but it all starts at the top. So if the top is getting some unachievable, only in a perfect world goals, then those all trickle down the organization. And so no, that's absolutely unfair. And I've been in organizations where that has happened. I've been in also organizations where I've hit all my goals and didn't get a raise, and people around me were, and we were told, well, there's just not money, in our budget for that. So that feels defeating. That felt defeating. And then I ended up getting caught up in a restructuring, and business restructured, and part of it was me not having a job. And so I got that call at 8 in the morning, went down to the conference room, was read uh, legal jargon by the director and my team, which was a new director who didn't know who had two teams. They got merged together, and so there was more knowledge about one team than the other. Regardless, I go in there, lose my job, restructuring. So that stuff happens. And so that's why I wrote The House of You, Five Workforce Preparation Tips for a Successful Career, written by Justin Allen Hayes, which is me. This was The House of You was before Voices for Voices. That's one of the reasons why I wrote that book, because I am an expert in myself, and I've had ups and I've had downs. And I also teach collegiate classes, university level classes, undergraduate, graduate, in person, remote, created classes. So that's why you see part of the organization and you see that book and go, wait, how does that really deal? How's that connect with Voices for Voices? So that's how it does. Because no matter how a person loses their job, they still lose their job. That means it's going to affect the mental side. It just is. And what I was told is, well, we got to make money. We got to make money to survive. I get it. It affects mental health. We want everybody to be successful, everybody to be prosperous, everybody to do their wildest dreams that are legal, that don't break laws. And so that's one of the reasons why we decided to open up a Voices for Voices publishing, our own publishing house, because there's a lot of people, right, wrong, and different. They're putting out some pretty, pretty disgusting content for that's inappropriate. Some of it's inappropriate in general for any individual, any human. And then we look at age ranges of who's the target market of purchasing these books. So we're the clean alternative to the others that you we don't plagiarize. We have original content. We don't plagiarize. Mythical Creatures Around the World has been plagiarized so much, and it's such a shame. But we fixed that, and we are fixing that. The first thing we did, because you got to do things in steps, you got to do things, one thing at a time. So, first thing we did is we wholly WHOLLY, meaning the whole thing. We wholly acquired Voices for Voices, wholly acquired the Mythical Creatures Around the World entity. So now Mythical Creatures Around the World is covered by our R with the circle around it for Voices from the United States Patent and Trade Office. So you've heard No Child is for sale and children trafficking. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of parallel to that no child is for sale, no person is for sale, is to say no post, no content, past, present, future, is open source on mythical creatures around the world. If you don't know what open source means anybody can use that information. Anybody can use that story. Anybody can use the characters. Uh, it means if somebody, I mean, even if it's open source, it's still kind of plagiarism. If somebody literally copies from a post or from somewhere, a blog, anywhere, copies and pastes that into their own book, their own uh, anything that is not mythical creatures around the world owned, then that's plagiarism. And so that was the first thing we did is we're letting everybody know that no child is for sale ever, 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 ever. And no adults are for sale ever, ever, ever. And mythical creatures around the world, everything associated with mythical creatures around the world, whether stated or implied, is now wholly owned and operated under the Voices for Voices umbrella. Sorry, you have the umbrella, and then you have, legs, arms, or what they call it. So we have that's where the Voices for Voices publishing. We have mythical creatures around the world, and that all leads up to Voices for Voices, the umbrella organization. So that's the first thing we had to do. We had to stop whatever the notion was, whatever this open source information, whatever these thoughts were, we had to stop that first. So we had to make that action happen. And we did. And we did. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if anybody is found with plagiarized content of mythical creatures around the world and or Voices for Voices and all the all the areas, then we have to proceed legally because that's called copyright infringement. So it's our request. So we can do things a little easy or we can do things a little bit tougher. If you have plagiarized mythical creatures around the world at any point, we are requesting, again, we're requesting, we're not forcing, none of that. We're requesting if you've ever lifted and taken content directly from mythical creatures around the world and made that into your own and saying, "Oh, this is my work. This is my work." We're requesting that you come out and you put a public statement out that says that you plagiarized mythical creatures around the world, who is a wholly owned subsidiary of Voices for Voices. Let your fans know. Let the world know. Because if that if that is the case, if that is the case, then you sold fans and consumers a fake bill of goods. And so that's called public relations. That's called, okay, I screwed up. I messed up. I shouldn't have did it. I want to be the example of how to handle a crisis. Because if there are no public apologies and you want to pretend like, oh, I don't hear it, I don't hear it, I don't hear it, I don't hear it, I don't see it, I don't see it, I see nothing, I know nothing. When there is something to see and hear, you're probably not going to want to be on the other side of that. And I'm just being honest. So we're given opportunity. We're given an opportunity through the end of March 2026. So I am going to just double check to make sure I have my okay. So at 12:01 a.m. on April 1st of 2026, we're going to put this in writing that if you have plagiarized from mythical creatures around the world at any point in time, and you haven't done a public retraction, you haven't given a public statement, you haven't acknowledged that you plagiarized from mythical creatures around the world by midnight, we're saying 12:01 on April 1st of 2026. This is the warning. So you have 3 months. You have 3 full months to make this decision and to do it. If you don't, you're opening yourself up to potential legal action. Just to be clear, just to be clear. So thank you for joining us on this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. We love each and every one of you. We pray for everybody, uh, not just myself, my family, but we pray for the whole world, even our enemies, even people that have done us wrong, whether they have or haven't. We pray for everybody, even if you're not a believer. We pray, and we hope you have a happy holiday season, and we'll see you on our next show of the Voices for Voices podcast and TV show. Please share, 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 subscribe, 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 follow, follow, follow. Let everybody know about the hottest podcast out there besides the Joe Rogan Experience. And that is the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. Have a great day, everybody.